What if the real danger isn't someone who shouts threats, but the person who quietly smiles while plotting your downfall? Could the people closest to you be hiding their true intentions, waiting for the perfect moment to strike? Here's how to spot them. Ready to uncover the 7 red flags that reveal the toxic, manipulative individuals who want to destroy you from the inside out? Let's dive in. We all wish we didn't have to deal with truly evil people. But here's the hard truth. Some people are just wired that way. They don't need a reason to hurt you, and you don't have to provoke them for them to strike. Their nature thrives on manipulation, deceit, and control. Now, evil doesn't always wear a villainous grin or dress in black like in the movies. Sometimes it hides behind a friendly smile, a charming word, or a thoughtful gesture. It's the friend who drains you emotionally, the coworker who subtly undermines you, or even a family. Awareness of these signs is your first line of defense. Because when you spot them early, you can protect your peace, your mental health, and your future. Member who makes you question your own reality. The worst part, you often don't realize what's happening until it's too late. But here's the good news. There are signs. Evil leaves clues if you know what to look for. You can protect your peace, your mental health, and your happiness. Today, we're breaking down 7 red flags that expose these toxic, manipulative individuals before they get too close. Trust me, you won't want to miss this. And before we dive in, take a moment, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and let's sharpen our awareness of these signs. Is your first line of defense, because when you spot them early, you can protect your peace, your mental health, and your future. Awareness. Together, let's begin. Red flag number 1. They make you feel like you're always at fault. Have you ever felt like you're always the one in the wrong in a relationship? Even when you remember things clearly, the other person insists that you're mistaken, that you're being too sensitive or overreacting. If this sounds familiar, you may be experiencing gaslighting, a manipulative tactic that evil individuals use to control you. Gaslighting isn't just about lying or hiding the truth. It's about distorting reality. So awareness of these signs is your first line of defense. Because when you spot them early, you can protect your peace, your mental health, and your future. Lose confidence in yourself. These people don't need evidence or logic. They only need to plant a seed of doubt in your mind, which allows them to manipulate your thoughts and emotions to their advantage. Imagine you're in an argument, and you know for a fact that you're remembering the situation correctly, but the other person smirks, shakes their head, and tells you that you're overreacting. They say, "You always make a big deal out of things, that you're just too emotional." You try to defend yourself, but they keep denying and twisting the facts until awareness of these signs is your first line of defense. Because when you spot them early, you can protect your peace, your mental health, and your future. Start questioning your own memory over time. You stop being sure of yourself. Every disagreement ends with you backing down, staying silent, and even apologizing when you've done nothing wrong. You begin to feel like you're walking on eggshells, afraid that anything you say or do will be used against you. This is the power of gaslighting. It erodes your self-trust and makes you completely dependent on the other person for reality. Evil gaslighters don't do this because they're unaware of the truth. They do it because they need you to doubt. Awareness of these signs is your first line of defense. Because when you spot them early, you can protect your peace, your mental health, and your future. Yourself when you're unsure of your own mind. They can control you more easily. They want you to feel like the problem, to believe you're unstable, so you stop trusting your own judgment. This is a dangerous tactic because if you don't recognize it, it slowly destroys your self-esteem. You may become hesitant, unable to make decisions for yourself. And worst of all, you may start believing that you don't deserve respect. Stoic philosophy teaches us that truth doesn't depend on what others say about you. It depends on how you see yourself. Marcus, awareness of these signs is your first line of defense, because when you spot them early, you can protect your peace, your mental health, and your future. Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. This means that no matter how much someone tries to distort reality, you have the ability to hold on to your own truth. When someone constantly dismisses your emotions, makes you feel like you're always wrong. Stop and ask yourself, am I really wrong? Or am I being manipulated? Stoicism doesn't encourage you to argue with people like this, but rather to silently step back, stand firm in your reality, and protect your awareness of these signs is your first line of defense. Because when you spot them early, you can protect your peace, your mental health, and your future, inner peace. If you constantly feel guilty without a reason, if someone repeatedly tells you your feelings don't matter, or that your perceptions are incorrect, it's not because you're too sensitive. It's because someone is manipulating you. Don't ignore this red flag. Trust your instincts, hold on to your truth, and if necessary, walk away from toxic relationships. A good person will make you feel safe, respected, and heard. But an evil person will always make you question yourself. Guard your reality, because it's the one. Awareness of these signs is your first line of defense. Defense, because when you spot them early, you can protect your peace, your mental health, and your future, thing they can never take away from you. Red flag number 2. They use your vulnerability against you. One of the most toxic behaviors of an evil person is using your vulnerabilities against you. There is nothing more painful than trusting someone, sharing your deepest fears, insecurities, and moments of weakness, only to realize they were gathering ammunition to use against you when the opportunity arises. We all have moments of weakness where we feel safe confiding in someone, believing they will hold our secrets. With awareness of these signs is your first line of defense, because when you spot them early, you can protect your peace, your mental health, and your future. Respect, but to those with a malicious heart, this is just an opportunity to manipulate and control you. They take your most private thoughts, twist them, and use them to hurt you or diminish you. When you least expect it, imagine you once confided in someone about how you struggled to overcome a significant loss in your life. You trusted that they would understand, but over time, they bring up your pain in ways that make you feel small. They might throw comments at you, like you're always like this, weak and never changing. Awareness of these signs is your first line of defense, because when you spot them early, you can protect your peace, your mental health, and your future. Or no wonder that happened to you. They use your past as a weapon, twisting the story to make you doubt yourself. When conflict arises, they bring up your old wounds, reminding you of past mistakes or difficult moments, just to make you feel worthless. This isn't just a simple insult. It's a deep, Betrayal. Evil people exploit your weaknesses because they know it gives them power over you. They want you to feel small, helpless, and dependent on them. They want to ensure that you never gain the strength to stand up for yourself or escape their control. This is awareness of these signs is your first line of defense, because when you spot them early, you can protect your peace, your mental health, and your future. One of the most insidious forms of manipulation, because it is not just emotional abuse, it is a betrayal of trust on the deepest level. You trusted them with your vulnerability, and they turned it into a weapon against you. Stoic philosophy teaches us that no one can harm you unless you allow them to. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This means that you do not have to carry the burdens that others try to place on you. You are not obligated to. Awareness of these signs is your first line of defense, because when you spot them early, you can protect your peace, your mental health, and your future. Let someone make you feel small just because they cannot stand your light. When you recognize that someone is using your vulnerabilities against you, it is time to reclaim your power. Do not give them control over your emotions. Do not allow them to manipulate your story. You have value in your own right, and no one has the right to take that away from you. Distance yourself from these people and protect your peace, because you deserve to be surrounded by those who respect you, not those who exploit you. Red flag number 3, they constantly lie. Or awareness of these signs is your first line of defense, because when you spot them early, you can protect your peace, your mental health, and your future. Manipulate the truth. Lies come in many forms. Sometimes they're harmless, meant to spare someone's feelings. But in the hands of a truly evil person, lies become a weapon used to manipulate, control, and distort reality. These people don't lie just to avoid trouble. They lie to shift power in their favor. They don't care about making things easier. They care about bending reality to suit their needs and keeping you off balance. Stoic philosophy teaches us an essential truth. Reality is not something we should run from. Epictetus once said, awareness of these signs is your first line of defense, because when you spot them early, you can protect your peace, your mental health, and your future. Do not control what others do, but we control how we respond. When faced with a master manipulator, you must remain grounded, control your emotions, and see situations objectively. Evil people will try to make you doubt yourself, but if you cultivate a stoic mindset, you won't fall into their trap. Imagine having a conversation with someone you trust. You listen carefully, believing in their words, only to realize over time that something feels off. They might tell you one thing today, then deny it later when the truth comes. Awareness of these signs is your first line of defense. Because when you spot them early, you can protect your peace, your mental health, and your future. Out or worse, they twist events so that you start questioning your own memory. This isn't just casual dishonesty. It's a calculated tactic designed to confuse and isolate you, making you doubt your own perception of reality. These individuals don't just lie when necessary. They fabricate stories, exaggerate situations, and manipulate words in ways that make you feel paranoid. The scariest part, they will never admit their actions to an evil person. Honesty isn't a value. It's a tool for control, deception, and dominance. Lying becomes second nature to awareness. These signs is your first line of defense, because when you spot them early, you can protect your peace, your mental health, and your future, them making it nearly impossible to trust anything they say. If someone in your life constantly twists the truth for their own benefit, that is a clear red flag of their malicious intent. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The most dangerous part of being around a liar is that they can make you lose faith in yourself. But if you develop a Stoic mindset, you will train yourself to see things with clarity and reason. You won't be easily awareness of these signs is your first line of defense. Because when you spot them early, you can protect your peace, your mental health, and your future. Swayed by deception, because you'll understand that truth does not depend on how someone else manipulates it. If you recognize this behavior in someone, don't ignore it. Trust your instinct. You don't need to confront them, but you can protect yourself by setting firm boundaries. Epictetus reminds us, "The wise man does not need to prove anything to a liar, for the truth will do that on its own." Do not let these manipulators control your perception and emotions. You deserve to live in honesty and peace, not in confusion, and awareness of these signs is your first line of defense. Because when you spot them early, you can protect your peace, your mental health, and your future. Deceit, red flag number 4. They love conflict. Some people can never be satisfied with peace. While most of us value stability and avoid unnecessary tension, truly evil people thrive on chaos. They don't just engage in conflict, they create it. For them, stirring up drama and discord is a form of entertainment, a way to manipulate those around them and maintain control. Imagine you're at a family gathering enjoying a warm and relaxed evening. Everyone is laughing, sharing stories, and having a great time. Suddenly, someone makes a sly remark, something awareness of. These signs is your first line of defense, because when you spot them early, you can protect your peace, your mental health, and your future. They know will trigger tension within moments. The mood shifts, voices rise, tempers flare, and the atmosphere turns heavy. And while the rest of the room is caught up in the argument, this person steps back, watching with a subtle smirk, like they just lit a match and are now waiting to see how far the fire will spread. These conflict-loving individuals don't stop there. They spread rumors, twist facts, and fuel misunderstandings between friends, family, or colleagues. Always from the shadows, always playing the innocent bystander, or the so-called awareness of these signs, is your first line of defense. Because when you spot them early, you can protect your peace, your mental health, and your future. Peacemaker. They thrive on seeing relationships crumble, on watching people turn against each other, and most of all, on making you feel isolated, exhausted, and off balance. Stoic philosophy offers a powerful lesson here. You cannot control the actions of others, but you can control your response to them. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "When you wake up in the morning, remind yourself that you will meet people who are deceitful, selfish, and manipulative, but you do not have to become like them." What does this mean? It means you don't have to play their game. Awareness of these signs is your first line of defense, because when you spot them early, you can protect your peace, your mental health, and your future. An evil person doesn't just crave conflict. They want you to participate. If you react with anger, try to win against them, or engage in their drama, you've fallen into their trap. The only way to break free from this toxic cycle is to stay calm and refuse to let them control your emotions. Epictetus reminds us, whoever angers you owns you. If you notice someone constantly stirring up drama and disrupting your peace, set boundaries. You don't have to confront them. You just need to distance yourself. They are not worth sacrificing your inner peace for. Awareness of these signs is your first line of defense, because when you spot them early, you can protect your peace, your mental health, and your future. Remember, you don't need anyone in your life who thrives on creating chaos and negativity. Red flag number 5. They play the victim in every situation. Evil people have a cunning strategy to manipulate others. They always play the victim, no matter what happens, whether it's failure at work, personal conflicts, or any life challenge. They always portray themselves as the ones who suffer the most. They craft a tragic narrative where the world is unfair to them. Everyone treats them poorly, and they've never been given pain. Awareness of these signs is your first line of defense, because when you spot them early, you can protect your peace, your mental health, and your future. Fair chance, but the truth is they refuse to take responsibility for their actions. They don't want to admit that their choices and behaviors have led to their current situation. They need someone to blame, and if you're not careful, that person will be you. Imagine having an acquaintance who constantly complains about the injustices they endure every time something doesn't go their way. They never stop to consider whether they might be at fault. Instead, they blame their boss, coworkers, friends, or even their own family. They manipulate. Awareness of these signs is your first line of defense, because when you spot them early, you can protect your peace, your mental health, and your future. Your emotions with their endless stories, making you feel sorry for them. At first, you empathize and want to help. But over time, you realize that nothing ever changes. They always find themselves in the same problems, and each time, they pull you into their emotional whirlwind, leaving you drained. The real danger here is that playing the victim isn't just about gaining sympathy. It's a tool for control. They use your kindness against you, knowing that you're a good-hearted person who wants to help. They exploit that by making you feel responsible for. Awareness of these signs is your first line of defense, because when you spot them early, you can protect your peace, your mental health, and your future. Their problems as if it's your duty to carry their burdens and fix their lives. But whenever you encourage them to take accountability, they immediately turn the situation around. Suddenly, you're the bad guy. They accuse you of being heartless or selfish for not continuing to support them. They make you feel guilty for wanting to step away, as if you are the one hurting them. Remember, compassion is a virtue, but it doesn't mean you have to carry the weight of someone else's problems. A person who truly needs help will be defense, because when you spot them early, you can protect your peace, your mental health, and your future. Willing to change and work through their difficulties, not sit back and expect others to fix everything for them. Stoic philosophy teaches us that we cannot control others, but we can control our own reactions. When you recognize someone using the victim role to manipulate you, take a step back and reflect. Are you genuinely helping them, or are you just being used? You are not responsible for someone else's life, and you do not have to sacrifice your peace for someone who refuses to take ownership of their own actions. Set clear boundaries. Awareness of these signs is your first line of defense, because when you spot them early, you can protect your peace, your mental health, and your future. Understand that a healthy relationship is built on mutual respect and support, not emotional exploitation and manipulation. If someone consistently plays the victim with no intention of changing, it's time to step away and protect your own peace. Red flag number 6. They constantly criticize you, but never acknowledge your successes. Evil people always have a dangerous and toxic tactic. They constantly criticize you, but never acknowledge your efforts or successes. This isn't constructive feedback. It's deliberate degradation. Awareness of these signs is your first line of defense, because when you spot them early, you can protect your peace, your mental health, and your future. Designed to erode your self-esteem. No matter how hard you try, they will always find flaws, no matter how insignificant. When you achieve something, instead of recognizing your effort, they immediately dismiss its value. If you share an accomplishment, they instantly shift the focus to a mistake or weakness, making you feel like you're never good enough. Imagine spending weeks working tirelessly on a project, putting your heart and soul into it, excited to share your success with someone you trust. You expect support, and awareness of these signs is your first line of defense, because when you spot them early, you can protect your peace, your mental health, and your future. Encouragement. But instead of celebrating with you, they shrug and say it's not a big deal, or you could have done better, worse. They'd immediately start talking about their own achievements, completely overshadowing yours. Every time this happens, you feel smaller, as if your success doesn't matter. This isn't accidental. It's a calculated tactic. They want to control how you perceive yourself, to make you doubt your worth. Evil people don't want to see you confident or proud of yourself. They want you to constantly feel the need to prove. Awareness of these signs is your first line of defense, because when you spot them early, you can protect your peace, your mental health, and your future. Your value, but they'll never give you the recognition you deserve. Their goal is to keep you dependent on their approval, an approval that will never come. They enjoy seeing you anxious, questioning yourself, and emotionally drained. The scariest part, they do it subtly, pretending they're just trying to help you improve, when in reality, they're suffocating your self-confidence. This behavior is not just hurtful, it's dangerous. It can trap you in a cycle of self-doubt, making you feel like you're never enough and forcing you to awareness of these signs is your first line of defense, because when you spot them early, you can protect your peace, your mental health, and your future. Constantly seek validation from someone who will never give it to you. If you encounter someone who constantly criticizes you but never acknowledges your accomplishments, stop and reevaluate that relationship. Stoicism teaches us that our self-worth does not depend on others. You don't need anyone's approval to know your value. You don't need recognition to make your success meaningful. Don't let anyone manipulate your self-esteem. Recognize who truly supports you and who is using you for their own control. Protect your peace. Walk away. Awareness of these signs is your first line of defense, because when you spot them early, you can protect your peace, your mental health, and your future from those who refuse to see your worth and focus on those who respect and appreciate you. Red flag number 7. they display no empathy or compassion. One of the clearest signs of a person with bad intentions is their complete lack of empathy. Empathy is what makes us human, allowing us to connect, understand, and share with others. But some people don't just lack empathy. They see the emotions of others as a burden, an inconvenience, rather than something to be valued. Have you ever met someone who, no matter how much pain, sadness, or hardship, awareness of these signs is your first line of defense? Because when you spot them early, you can protect your peace, your mental health, and your future. You were going through, remained indifferent, or even ignored your feelings entirely. You share something deeply difficult, maybe a loss, an illness, or a major life struggle, and their response is a cold, dismissive remark like, "Everyone goes through that." Or worse, they change the subject, as if your story wasn't worth their attention. That's not just someone who is busy or absent-minded. That is a sign of someone who has no ability or no desire to care about others. Truly evil people do not care about your suffering. They are afraid to truly cold, dismissive remark, like everyone goes them. Your emotions are nothing more than obstacles in their plans. These people may pretend to care when it benefits them, but when the moment of truth arrives, awareness of these signs is your first line of defense. Because when you spot them early, you can protect your peace, your mental health, and your future. Actually need support or encouragement. They reveal their true cold nature. That's when you realize you don't matter to them at all, that they only see you as a tool, someone to exploit when it suits them, and discard when you are no longer useful. Think back to the times when you felt small, abandoned, like you were talking to a brick wall. That was never your fault, and it's not because you're too sensitive. It's because you were dealing with someone who has no empathy, who doesn't know how to care, or worse, simply doesn't want to. Awareness of these signs is your first line of defense. Because when you spot them early, you can protect your peace, your mental health, and your future. And the scariest part, they won't change. These individuals don't develop empathy over time because they don't see the need for it. They live for themselves, and your emotions have no place in their world. If you recognize someone who constantly dismisses your feelings, who makes you feel invisible, understand that this is a dangerous sign. They are not someone you can rely on. They are not worthy of your time, energy, or emotions. A good person listens, understands, and even if they can't fix your problem, they still let you know you're not worried. Awareness of these signs is your first line of defense. Because when you spot them early, you can protect your peace, your mental health, and your future. Alone, don't let those who lack empathy make you doubt your own worth. You deserve relationships built on mutual respect and genuine care. If you ever feel like someone is using your fears and weaknesses to control you, don't hesitate. Run far away from them. Evil people don't come with warning signs, but if you pay attention, the red flags are always there. I know accepting this truth isn't easy, especially when you've invested in a relationship or still want to believe that someone truly cares about you. But remember, good people don't make you. Awareness of these signs is your first line of defense, because when you spot them early, you can protect your peace, your mental health, and your future. Doubt yourself, feel manipulated, or emotionally drained. Spotting these signs early doesn't just help you protect your peace. It keeps you from unnecessary pain. Someone who displays these behaviors isn't a friend. They are a predator. Don't waste your time, energy, or kindness on them. Take a step back. See things clearly. and choose people who truly deserve to be in your life. Always remember, you deserve to be loved and appreciated by those who genuinely care about you. Protect your mind and your heart. See you in the next. Awareness of these signs is your first line of defense, because when you spot them early, you can protect your peace, your mental health, and your future. Video awareness of these signs is your first line of defense, because when you spot them early, you can protect your peace, your mental health, and your future.